second. Alright, so boom. So this little video, I'm about to try to, I'm going to break down monkey virus by breaking down the words. And first, let's start with monkey and its meaning. Alright, so boom. A monkey, it says, is a small to medium-sized primate that typically has a long tail. Most kind of which live in trees in tropical countries. A power-driving machine consisting of heavy hammer or ram working vertically in a groove. That's another definition. Behave in a silly or playful way. This monkey in a verb. Alright, so when I'm looking at a synonym for monkey, it says rascal, horror. Beside horror is informal. The next one is devil. Next one is rogue. Yeah, we about to click that. Mischief maker, scamp, pickle, rogue. So monkey means rogue. Devil. 1, 2, 3. Devil. 1, 2, 3. Imp. 1, 2, 3. Devil, imp, mischief maker. A mischief maker is a person who deliberately creates trouble for others, which the devil is doing in his army. Come on, man. Alright, so rogue, in the sense of scoundrel, a dishonest or unprincipled person. He wasn't a rogue at all. Synonyms of that is crook, villain, fraudster, sharper, fraud, cheat, devil, deceiver, charlatan, con man or woman, con artist, swindler, knave, reprobate, scumbag, blackguard, whoop-de-whoop. What is a charlatan? A person who claims expertise that he or she does not have. This so-called psychic was exposed as a charlatan. We're dealing with common right now in this damn pandemic. Alright, let's go back. Those are synonyms. For monkey. Alright, it's the parachutes pickle. Alright, so Pickle definition is to preserve or treat in a pickling liquid. So the synonyms for pickle is preserve, marinade, keep, cure, and steep. Pickle your favorite vegetables while they are still fresh. Sound like alright, let's keep going. Preserve, to maintain, to once they pickled. Cure. In the sense of make better, to get rid of. See where I'm going? Heal, relieve, remedy, and help, ease. Correct. To get rid of, ease. Right? In this sense, it's a lack of difficulty. In the sense of comfort. Synonyms of that is comfort, luxury, leisure, relaxation, prosperity, affluence, rest, repose, restfulness. Affluence. So it's not influence, it's affluence. So they do that in the sense of wealth. The post-war era was one of the affluence for the working class. Wealth, riches, plenty, fortune, prosperity, abundance, big money. That's what it's all about, right? But they're using a hedging method to do all of this. Like, hedging method is pretty much the testing of what they do to us to see the cause and effect, just to see if we can get the most money. So like the hedging ties back to Sonic Hedgehog, because Sonic Hedgehog was all the different hedgehogs pretty much like family, right? Friends at one point, until the coins came into play. Then they're playing a game, which this is just all this worship, this fucking game, acting like they against each other, fucking playing a game to see who gets the most coins, right? It's like they're in charge of the currency, so pretty much they do what the fuck they want, like a game, right? So remember this, in the sense of wealth, lack of difficulty, needs a cure, in the sense of making you better, to get rid of the ease. This ease in the sense of preserve, or treat in a pickling liquid. Let's see what a pickling liquid is real quick before we go back again. Use any vinegar of choice, my suggestion. Okay. Alright, so boom. What is a pickling solution? A pickling is a metal surface treatment used to remove impurities such as stains and inorganic contaminants, inorganic contaminants, and rust or scales from ferrous metals, copper, precious metals, and aluminum alloys. A solution called pickle liquor, which usually contains acid, is used to remove the surface impurities. A general rule is 2/3 vinegar and 1/3 water when making brine. This ratio results in an acidic enough base for whatever vegetable you choose to pickle. Other recipes must have a lighter vinegar brine, but you must follow exact recipe when those expired. The most common pickle for jewelry making is composed of sodium bisulfate, bisulfite, by two different bisulfate. Sodium bisulfate is also used as a pH reducer for spas, so you can purchase a product like the Swim pH reducer to use as your pick. Micro Tools sells Sparex #2. What's this? Sodium bisulfate, also known as sodium hydrogen sulfate, is the sodium salt of bisulfate anions, with the molecular formula of that Na, which I think is sodium, hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. You see, the oxygen needed 4 oxygens to override the sodium, hydrogen, the sulfate. So bisulfate anions. I was just reading that, dealing with the video I tried to post, the damn post. It was dealing with the the cellular reproduction that's going on right now. But anyways, let's see what it says. Sodium bisulfate is an acid salt formed by partial neutralization of sulfuric acid by an equivalent of sodium base, typically in the form of either sodium hydroxide or sodium chloride. What are these uses for? Sodium bisulfate is used as bleaching agent to lower the pH of the water in swimming pool, water treatment products, and manufacturing of paper products. Alright, so sodium bisulfite may cause mutation genetic changes. Boom. Back to my theory for what I said at the beginning. Alright, so, Well, I tried to make a video before this, but this is my first time reading this. Alright, I'm glad I did it that way. Alright, so boom. So the health effects of sodium bisulfate, if I'm saying that wrong, correct me, bad for you. Sodium bisulfate may cause mutation genetic changes. Jersey Department of Health sodium B has been tested and has not been shown to affect reproduction. Low future exposure can cause itching and a skin rash. Exposure causes bronchitis to develop with coughing, phlegm, and shortness of breath. Sounds like another COVID to me. And sounds like the monkeypox to me. And that is COVID is going to bring respiratory problems because of the spike proteins in your hemoglobin, which is the proteins in red blood cells. And if there are animal cells inside of your red blood cells, that means it's going to make respiratory problems as your red blood cells increase, because right now it's increasing. So unless your immune system is unable to reproduce itself, causing an immunodeficiency disorder, which is another word for HIV. So back to what I was saying with the red blood cells, the hemoglobin holds the protein. Transport the protein to your respiratory system. So the only reason you're getting mucus is because you're intaking animals, right? So boom, if you're doing that while on the shot, they spike the proteins because they gave you the diet you should be on, knowing that their race, this is the thing, they forced what they did on us. It's like the Pilgrim story. Like, the Pilgrims taught them about how they used to hunt, shit like that. And then, or the whoop-de-woo, and then the Native Americans taught them how to grow and tap in with nature and shit. Right? Shit like that. So, what they do, they learn, snake them, right? So, that's what they did in every war. They learned, snake, kept it pushing. Because what we came from love, what we did war, but they couldn't beat us through war. So they had to use our game against us. But that's what they did. The animals, right? Look, we're not meant to eat animals. Really, I don't even think they're supposed to be eating animals, because when Yakub spliced and diced their DNA, or Jacob, or Jesus, or Satan, however you want to say it. Well, actually, I'm just going to say Jacob or Yakub. So, Jacob or Yakub, right, splice and dice the cells, right? They took a piece of the God gene, really from a female, had an XX. So, boom. So, the thing is, they mixed it with animals. So, they low-key need to eat animals because they have a bigger, not pancreas, but a bigger, whatever that cord, what's the cord? Not the spinal cord, but it looks like it's for the digestive. I can't remember that shit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It looked like a big ass snake, just like a monitor looks like the snake like river. Alright, so boom. back to what I'm trying to say is that race of people low key kind of need animals for their diet. They made us seem like we needed animals, but low key that kind of like stops our cells from growing. And when cells are not growing, that fucks with memory and it fucks with your electromagnetic charge that's your body naturally has. So that means you're eating more dead flesh, dead energy, and then it's not even the amino acids, cause our protein is amino acids. That's why it ties into our memory and our charge because it ties down to the cells. So if we eating too many uh, animal cells, that's throwing off our cells. They getting confused like, who are you, nigga? And then now they're fighting, going to war. Feel me? Thing is, that protein or whatever you get from animals, that builds up. As that builds up, it makes blockages. As it makes blockages, it stops rivers or your vessels from flowing through your body. So when that happens, your metabolism actually slows because your immune system is becoming weaker. So when you're gaining weight from unnatural food that is not healthy gains, that is your immune system becoming weaker and your metabolism becoming slower. Your metabolism is supposed to be running fast like a kid like self because you have a kid like soul. Plus, it's only running fast because your blood vessels are open. It's like a younger person having sex to an older person having sex on this regular ass diet. But if niggas don't pay attention, the old people that's on like a vegan diet is still on their young nigga shit. Or if they work like been on it most of their life, they still on their young nigga shit. So that would make sense. That should prove you're not supposed to be eating that shit. Cause that makes you old. Nigga, you don't get old. You're immortal. It's like taking care of a car. If you take care of the car, it's gonna last forever. The car gonna take care of you. If you take care of your body's gonna take care of you. Literally. It's gonna do some crazy ass shit you never thought you could do before. But that's the thing. That was the whole point of why Jesus got down and went to the desert 40 days, 40 nights. Nigga, that nigga was grounding the sun with the goddamn ground with planet Kai. Nigga, water, he was purifying his body. That was the real baptism of what the fuck he was really trying to do. They just didn't say it that way. So I'ma say it that way. That was the real baptism. The real baptism is purifying your body, nigga. Mentally, physically. So when you do it mentally, physically, you're able to absorb the fifth fucking element. The fifth element is your heart, what you have to do within you. But the plasma is connected to you, which is also the fifth element. The heart, really you, and plasma is the fifth element. Feel me? So boom. Pretty much you have to keep your shit flowing. That's why when you get back on the fruits and shit, your body actually starts to repair itself. Then you start to get less sleep because you don't need that much repair. You'll wake up after 4 hours feeling like you had 3 hours, like you had 8, and probably be dreaming just because. Like, really not even dreaming. It's like as your DNA is repairing itself, it repairs itself in the sleep. It gains information, it radars everything around you during the day when you out and about outside. So when you come back to sleep, now that's when the physical part comes in. Also mentally, because you got to remove fear, because fear destroyed. Fear makes the reproduction of cells do the opposite from what they supposed to do, which is like you getting sick, right? So imagine, like, say Superman, his weakness was kryptonite. You being a god, your weakness is fear. So to rise back up to what you was, you have to remove the fear and anxiety out of your imagination, because your imagination is what they call junk DNA. It's tied into your X gene, like the God gene of you, right? Because really, your junk DNA is your soul, and your conscious is your spirit. So when you have a perspective taught to your subconscious or your soul coming out the womb and growing up, that's why they put you in school and everything. They taught you their perspective. Now when you're growing up, you're looking for your own perspective. You're battling yourself because your higher self is trying to show you. That's why you have to go through shit over and over again so you know how to deal with it. Plus, you have to pay attention to your surroundings. So, like, I forgot where I was going. I forgot where I left off. But yeah, like, shit gets deep. But yeah, back to this. Alright, so sodium, oh yeah, so it causes mutation, genetic changes. Alright, so the substitute name for sodium bisulfate is muriatic acid. So the main alternative to sodium bisulfate is muriatic acid, also referred as hydrochloric acid, but actually contains only roughly 32% hydrochloric acid. Muriatic acid is a very strong acid that comes as a liquid and readily available wherever you purchase your pool care goods. So they're using a type of acid that mixes in with the water and lowers its pH. Because when you lower the pH, it actually becomes acidic. Then they're using muriatic acid to do so. So in the body, or dealing with water, the water is supposed to be clean, right? With no toxins. And the pH balance is actually supposed to be high, not low, because now that it's high, it has a charge. That's why like saltwater pools are better than chlorine pools, because what do they use? Sodium bisulfite, right? That's why it dries your fucking shit out. But they had to put more water than it so it can dilute it. But when you're putting it into a body that holds 70% water, and then you're hitting it with 25% hydrochloric acid, it's going to help the the veins, like the sodium channel, because to even clog, to even allow that to happen, you have to throw off the amino acids in your body, your antibodies. You have to throw them off. But to throw them off, you have to put in another animal or a different species. That's when it comes heterolysis. And lysis is a medical word for pathological blood destruction, which is injected through a sigma, which is a needle. So boom, to make the water, the body of the water dry, like the man-made lakes, the sun is hitting it. So the water in your body, the blood, the plasma, and your skin is supposed to absorb it. The temperature has not changed. Maybe 10 degrees. It's been 77 degrees highest, and the UV index of the sun, meaning the ray that's coming off the sun, is at a higher intensity. Like, say for people that go tanning, when they go tanning, they could pick a number of UV intensity. Niggas need to realize that is an imitation of the sun. So boom, normal was 0 to 3, sometimes 4, maybe maybe 5, who knows. But look though, UVC is hitting the ground because the magnetic field is gone. So when that comes through, it's at a higher rate. So your cells actually grow from the sun. Like the sun helps your cells grow. Just like, well, anything that's natural on this planet, it helps it grow what it's supposed to. So when when you're throwing off your balance and doing the opposite of what it's supposed to do, lowering your pH actually creates lactic acid and can give you something called acidosis, because it's going to come from the foods that you're intaking. First of all, you're not going to get acidosis from fruit, vegetables, or anything natural. You're only going to get it from shit that you're not supposed to be intaking. If niggas don't even look at the ingredients, that's a whole fucking chemical right there. Even though that shit tastes good as fuck, nigga, you need to read the ingredients and use your fucking common sense. Nigga, those are straight drugs. You wouldn't even eat that shit by itself. So how's you eating that shit mixed all together? And I know it be hard sometimes, but still, we have to keep saying this shit to ourselves till we get the fuck out of it. Cause that's really what it is. And the thing is, when people say raise your vibration, the real meaning to that is raising your cellular reproduction, because the more cells you have, the more of a charge you have. Like, you have billions of cells and it holds a charge. That means, and then it's like more than like 1, 2, or 3, but either way, that's billions. So say that whatever times 9, now them shits are tripling by 3 and climbing. So that means that you're mutating already. A gain of a cell and a loss of a cell is a mutation. So this is where it goes back to sodium bisulfate. It said may cause genetic changes. It says sodium B has been tested and has not shown to affect reproduction. Low future exposure can cause itching and skin rash. That already, see how they lied? This is how you know they lied. It says sodium B has tested and has not been shown to affect reproduction. How has it not been shown to affect reproduction when reproduction comes from the cells when it's talking about a genetic cell? So your sodium channels, right? That's why they use the sodium bisulfite. So we need to see what bisulfite is by itself, unless it's like sulfur or something. So boom, because that deals with crystals. And cells deals with hydrogen and carbon. So boom, that ties into your hydrogen and carbon links. God damn. All right, so boom, that ties into your carbon and hydrogen links. So we figured that out. All right, so they lied and said it has not been shown to affect reproduction. This is the lie. They said low future exposure can cause itching and skin rash. So sodium, you have sodium channels. When you take anything dealing with cholesterol pills or like anything like that, you have high cholesterol because you have too much lactic acid built up in your veins, meaning that you need to fast and drink only water because it's not flowing because you're consuming the wrong shit. It's like throwing trash into a river that you built knowing that the river has to flow, but you threw too much trash in it. Now that bitch can't flow. Now the river that you had it flowing to some plants or whatever for that to grow, that can't grow no more. So now the whole system is breaking apart that you built up. So that's what I'm trying to say. So like then it's talking about the exposure may cause bronchitis to develop coughing, phlegm, and shortness of breath. That also deals with the cells. So if it has shown no effect to reproduction, how is it doing that, this, that, and the third? See, they told the truth and the lie. I ain't fuck niggas. That's why you gotta pay attention to what you reading, because they put everything in words. They don't have the energy to just look for the words or look for like how I am right now. So like, let's get it. All right, so yeah, what was you just reading about that? That's about half of your water. Say you're 70% water, right? 32 times 2, right? Most of the time it'd be 99 because they gotta hit the left side of your body, the right side of your body, and the spine because it's really start off in the spine, but it affects the left and the right because if the spine not stable, it makes everything else weak. That's why when the red blood cells actually begin to die, it starts at the spleen in your back. The spiritual side to your spleen or the organ that's within you, the frequency that's within you, the organ from one of your organs, the spleen is actually the solar plexus. If you look up the chakra system, the solar plexus connects to above. So while the golden energy is here, it really connects to what you call black people because we're solar, right? So it connects to us and it goes back to pretty much headquarters, which is Sirius. Sirius is the North Star or the Star of David or the Bethlehem Star. That's Sirius. So Sirius is actually a portal, right? It looks like a star when you see it, but it twinkles. It's a big old one, but it twinkles because it's actually spinning. It's an orb spinning. And when you see it, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put the link in the description so you can see it. So it's a portal. The Sirius A, B, C, and X. I would say there's an M, but I'm not too sure about that. But the 4 goes back to the 4 alternate. But I'm guessing the M, which the M only be a magnetic storm. So the M is just the magnetism is gaining. So, which is like us, we gain magnetism from above and below. So when the M flares hit, that's what's going on. It's gaining more magnetism, meaning it's bringing more energy closer to Earth, which is at 100%. And that's because the portal's open. So it's getting Sirius A, B, C, and X. Like someone just made a video of an orb following something invisible, and it was ether. It's Planet X. Because now that we're becoming a tri-solar system, they're not saying it. So it's about to be 3 solar systems put together, meaning you're about to see some weird ass shit. The energy is here like it was back in the day because it's cycles. It really wasn't back in the day. It was just some cycles ago. So like you're scared because the energy that's coming back is knocking off, is overriding their lunar frequency. The lunar frequency is like the fake sun China built up. So we had 3 suns, 1 sun got removed. Really, it was 1 sun that was combined in 2, and then 1 sun. Really, it's 4 suns, but it's really more than that. But anyways, let's just keep it right there. All right, so say it was another sun, it got blown out of orbit, right? A jump coming back. So, which was, I believe, Nemesis, which is a brown dwarf, but actually purple. But yeah, so they replaced that with the lunar frequency, which is the opposite of solar. The moon that you see in the sky is not made of rock. It's nothing like that at all. It's a blob of plasma. And it connects to Saturn, harnessing energy from the sun because everything works in trinities. So the 3 suns work in trinities, with the suns on Earth and the higher suns above, right? Like Sirius and then us. So like when they threw that off, it kind of threw us off because we're connected to it. So pretty much they took our secrets because we created them jumps anyway. So they took our secrets and then pretty much trying to create another one, like on some Dr. Octopus shit on Spider-Man, like trying to create a sun harnessing hella energy, right? Which they did, because they did it already with the moon. Right? I'm thinking these niggas ain't been doing this shit. This is how they took us. This is how we gotta take it back. But look, they made, like the China sun that they made, that's the moon. That's how they made the moon, right? Because the moon, not a planet, is a ball of plasma with a negative charge that really throws off the Trinity, because its Trinity is everything, right? So as that's getting removed, the lunar frequency is getting depleted because the sun is bringing in all its suns, all the stars. So that's bringing more heat, more power. That's going to override that in anything that's connected to a lunar frequency, which is mostly these other races. So, like, because when you're dealing with suns, you're dealing with ether, not just carbon, you're dealing with ether. And the ether realms are opening. Well, they're already open. So, this is what it's getting to. Alright, so now that Nemesis is back and Sirius star system and Nibiru system and the Nibiru system also has different beings within that solar system. And from what I'm believing, our solar system right now already have different beings on these different planets. But most of these planets are stars. It's just crazy. It kind of make movies make more sense when they were flying in space. They'd go through a portal before they got to their destination. And it'd be all bright, colorful, and shit like that on the inside through a circle. That makes sense. But anyways, his baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, is a white solid crystalline, but often appears as fine powder, as a slightly salty alkaline taste resembling of washing soda. Sodium carbonate, the natural mineral form, is nacolite. So calcium carbonate is a sodium carbonate. Whatever Bill Gates is using is like the same thing, but it's in the clouds. But that's the thing. That's why it says 4 states of everything. So boom. The powder form would be a solid form, right? Or yeah, it'd be a solid. So when it's getting shot through high levels of heat, it becomes gas. But when it falls in frequency, it becomes airborne. Now you're breathing it in. So that's what it goes back to when I was saying animal sicknesses come from animals, mucus come from animals, like Dr. CB was saying. So boom. So when you're breathing in that shit from the clouds, it's getting trapped in your mucus. So now you're scared. You don't know what the fuck to do. Now you look at the news, which already passed a law on propaganda, and it's always going to tell you fucking propaganda just to keep you in a fear state of mind. Because when you're in fear, you don't think. When you're in fear, your immune system shut down. When your immune system shut down, your cells are not reproducing. When your cells are not reproducing, you're losing your charge, right? Because remember, you're not the flesh. You're electricity and magnetism. So when you need electricity and magnetism, you and your cells are the charges. You can't lose cells. The thing is, on a right diet, your cells are going to keep on increasing. Now you're building up hella life force within your body, and then you can project it. Because now you're absorbing the plasma. You already should be tapped into air, water, fire, and the planet. The fifth element, like I said, is plasma. But you can't absorb the plasma if you're thinking it's hot. Only reason you think it's hot because your blood is toxic. So the key is to clean your blood out. To clean your blood out, you have to fast on natural foods only and water. Because now that opens up your rivers and canals and make flows. Now it's blood going to your brain where it wasn't going, like your junk DNA. And your DNA amino acids is making your shit grow back together. Like if you break a bone and shit fucked up, now it gotta come back together. That's what the amino acids from the fruits and shit and the minerals that you're getting, because that's the minerals that you already emit. So you have to take it in. Yeah, you could take a pill, but that's not natural. So, like, medicine is the trap, the real trap, nigga. Like, the real trap house. Once you understand the trap, you understand these niggas. So, like, I'm getting off topic, but I mean, it all ties down to what the fuck going on. But remember, sodium, where it came from, whoop-de-whoop. I really can't remember where it came from. I hit this back button, maybe. But it's on video. So look, remember, sodium causes mutations, right? Itching, rash, monkeypox, exposure, bronchitis, to develop coughing, phlegm, or shortness of breath. Another mutation of COVID. But really, you're supposed to be inside fasting. Man, till you out, because right now, you got till October to get ready. Literally, because shit's going to be so clouded up. They're going to try to make it so clouded up to do what they always been doing, trying to block the sun out, harness that energy to make snow and cold. Because when they block the sun, it's crystals all in that shit. And it also reflects it back to the magnetic field. But the thing is, that's water, gas, that's water and air. And it deals with the 5 natural gases, or the 5 natural elements, which can still be in liquid, solid, or gas, because there's 4 states of matter to everything. So, I mean, it's 3 states of matter, but all the 3 states of matter deals with plasma, so really it's 4 states. So, like, and that's the same thing with the 4 elements: water, fire, the planet, and air. It all deals with plasma. Plasma comes from the sun, and it also comes from the plasma from below. So, so it harnessed that energy, right? So the magnetism comes from the ground. So, because of the planet. So, that brings it down to even make it fall from its frequency. That's like if you fall into the orbit, earth will actually pull you in. So now that's in the air, in that atmosphere, at, at a higher frequency. That frequency, as it's blocking, is harnessing the sun and is creating weather. The more it is, the more it does. So you might see randomly Texas snowing in March because there was a lot of energy going on. Or like say anywhere that got hit by an M flare and they was trying to block that shit, all they have to do is hit it with a certain laser. They did it in wars, or just put shit in the gas through the Air Force, because you put it in the gas and it shoots out, and then it mix up with the hydrogen particles that comes from the NASA cloud making machines. So when that shit mixes up with the chemtrails, makes a mixture which makes dark clouds, and then when the sun hits it, hits the clouds and harnesses energy from the crystals that's in the clouds, it creates snow, rain, such and such. The weather is fake. It's just supposed to be sunny. The rivers and everything, the natural ones that flowed and everything before shit was shut off and shit, that was made so you wouldn't need rain. Niggas needed rain once they started making dams and trying to colonize and all types of shit. It was fucking shit up. So like, I got all the way off topic. I guess this is gonna be long. So yeah, actually let's keep going, because I did see something. This is just gonna be part one. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that's a lot of information. But, and mm, hmm, 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 4.8 equals 12. 3. Oh, what, 2? 1.2. Insoluble in ammonia. Crystal structures. Triclinic, monoclinic. So it's right back to the fuck I was saying. Alrighty then. I'm just gonna leave that alone for now. We came to this conclusion from the word fucking monkey and its synonyms. I found some shit though. See what it mean in Greek. Never heard of that. Sorry guys. Sick. The Minoan civilization was a Bronze Age, like now. Aegean civilization on the island of Crete and other Aegean islands. Those earliest beginnings were from 35 BC to 20 BC, and then declining from 1450 BC until the end of 1100 BC. Advanced art, trading, agriculture in Europe's first cities. The volcano eruption in Thera destroyed the Minoan settlement in Akrotiri, which had a consequence the beginning of the end. From Minoan civilization, a massive tsunami devastated the coast of Crete, causing significant damage and an economic drop. And what are they trying to do right now? Blame shit on motherfuckers that's controlling the money, and they're all family. And they're talking about this shit happening now, and the sun is high with X flares and all types of shit. So yeah, so X flare is gonna hit 144 degrees east, 0 north, and it's gonna hit 48 degrees east, 0 north. That is 144 the Pacific, the coast, it's the California, and on the left side, it's gonna hit Asia. The Atlantic, the North Atlantic, 48 degrees east, 0 north. That's going to pretty much hit the poles, Europe, UK closer to us, and then that's also going to hit some shit in Africa, and whatever volcanoes that has an effect on us, most likely gonna go off. From there, plus X flare is gonna hit the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle by Florida. From whatever flare that hits in South America. So it's pretty much gonna be South America, Africa, the North Atlantic, and the Pacific, and the Indian Sea all at once. And the Persian Sea. North and South Atlantic. That's why it's gonna hit the South Atlantic, the South America. It's gonna hit both parts. So when that happens, it's gonna hit the Bermuda Triangle. When it's already gaining, harnessing energy from the sun now, because even the fishes that live deep in the ocean, they're feeling that UV index. It's hitting their ass, and it's making them mutate too. So now you about to see big ass sea monsters, which they already been having. It's just they about to pop up even faster because the sun is speeding up at a faster rate. So that means your cells are speeding up to a faster rate. It's just most of them eat what the fuck they supposed to eat. We don't. So like, that's what I'm trying to say. That means when you throwing your balance off physically, that's gonna throw you off mentally. And then when that throws both off, left and right, that throws the body that's holding you, that's holding you. There's without the flesh, there's electricity and magnetism. So when you're fucking up the left and the right side, you're gonna fuck up the body. And the frequencies that's supposed to be healing you, it's gonna have an opposite effect. That was the definition of variant, right? It's either gonna have a positive, it's gonna be changing one's DNA sequence for positive, negative, or nothing changes. Variant definition is DNA sequence. A change of one DNA sequence for positive, negative, or nothing happens the same. And that's when it's interfered with. So, interfered with, it will be nothing changes, or it will be a negative effect. If you don't get interfered with, it'll be all three choices, but it's always going to be an interference because of your consumption. So, what are you consuming? The most stuff, or consuming, period. Because, like I said, you're intaking those cells, and those cells don't match your DNA. So, that throws it off while it's reproducing at a triple effect. It's like Goku goddamn squatting down, juicing up to turn Super Saiyan. Right? But you don't know that. So I'ma tell you. You don't know that's what's really, you don't know that's why I feel hot as fuck. But low key this shit feel good as fuck. But when you in that beam, you know your blood is toxic. Cause you gonna say fuck that. Other than that, all you gonna feel is a cool ass breeze with a little sensation tapping you on your face. Like, for real. That's why you gotta balance so you absorb. Like, when the solar panel absorbs solar, it gets energy. So, if something heals you and kills other species, what does that make you connected to? And if a sun is just a star, and all these other stars look like suns, different colors and sizes, what else does that connect you to? Because the sun gets its magnetism from the stars. So, and the planet gets its magnetism from the stars, or from the sun and the stars. So, we get our magnetism from the planets and the stars. So, like, what the fuck does that make us? Not what they told us we were. So, But you start to realize that as you fast, because your memory, your cells, your DNA strains, or your cells are memory. And all the four elements you take in is memory. Water, memory is wisdom. Feel me? Like, but that's why you have to eat water with the natural foods. So, plus you supposed to have 70% of water. You don't want to go to no dirty ass beach. You want to go to a clear water beach. So look at your body as a beach because it's the same thing. 70% water on you, in you, 70% water on the planet. Is literally an imitation of you. Like, your DNA matches the planet above and below. So that makes you omnipresent. Meaning your nervous system and your brain controls the nervous system outside of you. So if you're looking for somebody else like Zeus to help you outside of you, it's going to leave you back in the same loop because your higher self is trying to break you from the entity you allowed yourself to invite in because you did it at the end of the day, but it's not your fault. But at the end of the day, that's what fear has to be removed because it allows entities to work on you and you create one. So now it's you versus yourself till you think for yourself. Because if you're in another perspective that's not yours, that's an entity. That's in control. Now you're in your lower self. And it's a roller coaster because you have a pure heart, but it leaves you stuck at the root. And then it fucks with your crown, your thinking, because all the chakras have to work together to even ascend. But if you can't break out the root in a good heart space, like, there's levels to this shit for real. And really, you're supposed to be past that right now. Because the shit, your dreams and everything, it's normal. It'll get way stronger if you listen. If you ain't been on your shit, it will get way stronger just because of that. Because you're not tapping into dreams, you're tapping into memory. And they're telling you it's a dream, but all you're seeing is a memory. It's like if I punched the president in his face yesterday, got a shot, made me forget, but then I started eating fruit again, and I started remembering, like, oh, I hit the president, but I'm thinking in my head it's a dream, but in reality that shit really happened. It's just in another cycle, because cycles make circles, circles make loops, loops are currents that flow, flow, flow. Till you break out the loop and go to another loop, you're just stuck in that loop. But the energy of it, the time, that's what time is. Measurement of energy cycles. So your memory is ahead of time, behind time, because really we're just in a different time loop. That's why, like, different places on Earth is in different time zones. Like, loops is just zones, or another word for realms. So boom, that went all the way left. But yeah, that's something to look up to. Alright, so we looked up monkey, got all that. So we're gonna look up mon means in Greek. See what that says. Alright. Alone, singular. Mon is a combining form used like prefix meaning alone, singular one. It is used in technical and scientific terms. Mono comes from the Greek word monos. Mon is a variant of mono, which loses its O when combined with word elements with vowels. I had to put a little O like that. Maybe I should be looking this shit up in science or like chemistry. Okay. Word element. One single, limited to one part, combined with one atom. Fuck. That's Monday. Okay. Monte Lucas is in a class of medication called lucretin receptor antagonists, which is called LTRAs. It works by blocking the action of substances. It works as a cell in the action of blocking antibodies. That's what they should have said. It works by blocking the action of substances in the body that cause the symptoms of asthma, which is respiratory problems, and allergic rhinitis, whatever the fuck that says. But that's just another word for allergic problems. Allergies. So that goes back to what I was saying with the clouds and thing about the vat. They got graphene oxide that's in the clouds too. They even harness the energy to create the weather, but that mix with the sodium carbonate makes epoxy dust. So when it falls, you breathe it in, it gets stuck in your mucus. So then when it gets stuck in your mucus, it causes symptoms of asthma and allergies. So when it gets in your mucus, it can start an infection, right? So in order for the body not to even get the infection, you have to remove the mucus. Where's mucus clogged up? The lymphatic system. So boom. So to get your body naturally like that, the fuck do you need to do? Fast. Like, I could say Jesus is Zeus and Zeus is Satan, but most of y'all niggas still gonna go off of that. But just look what he did, nigga. He fasted, nigga. Highest one told Joshua, you feel me? Joshua got to telling niggas, goddamn, if you eat from the ground, it will nourish you and benefit you, pretty much. Like, that's like part of it. Sun gazing, eating good, and moving in the heart space. of righteousness. This is like the Trinity. Think about it. But really, the Trinity is physically, mentally, then that creates the light once it's balanced. Creates the light because when you're absorbing light, you reflect light. You can't reflect light if you're not absorbing light to even get a charge. So that's what I meant by if you clean your blood, your cells can absorb the sun and then it gets charged to reflect the sun because you are a sun in a fucking pyramid. If it was something to describe how you connect to above and below in a humanoid body, making you a god or an angel, because that's what Aang's name was on the Avatar. He was an Aang, and he was learning about all the elements, not sticking to his one sign, saying I'm incompatible with you. Feel me? Because all the stars work together, so there's no separation with that unless some evil ass motherfucker come through and knock it out of orbit like they just did with the moon, right? That was a sun. That just don't work like that. It works all together. And you being a sun, you interact with all these stars or constellations or what they say signs. All that shit is a part of you. That's what makes you an angel. Once you realize that, it's levels to unlock it. If you sit in there like I'm just this one sign, I can't fuck with these other ones, you're never gonna learn about the other parts of you. Cause really, they're still reflections of you. It's just another piece of you. That's why when you see them, you're still gonna see a piece of you. You don't like them or not. So that's just how they got us with the separation in another way. But when you use common sense, the stars don't even work like that. So why would you even work like that? That don't make sense. That's not how the universe works. We work in trinities, and those trinities connect and make more trinities and geometrical shapes and frequencies. Fuck out of here. So like, see what it says, the LTRAs, right? So, let's, okay, so mon means mono, which deals with the lymphatic system in the throat. From what I learned off of TV, when people have mono, they have a little throat shit. Anyways, really, I only heard mono when I went to a white school. Like, white people be getting mono, fucking chickenpox, some old shit. But that ties back into the monkey. I ain't trying to talk down. Really, I wasn't even about to say that, but that makes hella sense because we're talking about the monkey virus. So boom, mono or infectious mononucleosis. Mononucleosis. Monoinfectious mononucleosis refers to a group of symptoms usually caused by Epstein-Barr virus. I just heard of that, EBV. But look, mono is something they said they was going to bring back with SARS, right? SARS-CoV, right? That came after Omicron as a mutation. So now this is another mutation, right? Because what I say, the animal is only an uncontrollable substance being passed on and mutating because they inserted fucking animals inside of you. Now, when the sun is hitting them cells from the cholesterol blocking your antibodies, especially if you're not on your proper diet, which is having you no mucus, which is plants, vegetables, fruits, knowing that you're most likely you're not that way and you depend on them for medicine, they hit you with cholesterol, block your sodium channels, which blocks your cells, your amino acids, and your nervous system, and your skin, blood, and your plasma. Now the stats block it, the fake amino acids, or they try to use, right? The fight is also a xenobot that's helping that animal fetus reproduce itself. And that's helping them gain data to figure out what the fuck they need to do. Because they didn't have time to do that shit. Right? And plus, they're trying to learn about the God gene. But you know they're using computers. They don't know shit naturally. Like me, I figured this shit out naturally. And social media is a form of xenia. So they like hearing stories from the divine, because the divine teach them some shit. The whole time, as they try to do some shit that they're learning, they're going to get fucked up some more, because it's not for them to know. So either way they try to do some shit, it just won't work. So it says it typically occurs in teenagers, but you can get it at any age. The virus is spread through saliva, which is some people refer to as the kissing disease. So that's MON, right? Okay. And so MON, Greek or Latin, MON comes from the prefix from monkey, which is MON, comes from the Latin word where it has a meaning warn. This meaning is a found such word as admonish, admonition, monitor, monitoring, monster, mantras, monument, premonition, summon. What the fuck did I just say? Monitor, right? It's part, the AI is part of the monitoring where the fuck you at. Because to get you on transhumanism, to get a chip in you, this is where they have to start. So boom, that's how I see it. That's where they had to start. So, because the goal of Zeus or Satan is to trap your soul, right? To trap your soul. The only way you can really trap a soul from a god is to take his conscience. When you take a god's conscience, now, bruh, like, get out. So, since they couldn't war with us because there was too many of them, they pretty much destroyed our conscience. But it's getting too bad now. These niggas is trying to convert you into a fucking robot. Literally. That would mean that your soul will be put into the metaverse, which is like a cartoon realm, leaving you soulless in digital work, right? Or you just crash when everything else crash. When all the power crash, you crash. So like, it's part of the genocide and depopulation because they're ruthless. So That's when the chosen ones come and play. So, alright. So, let's look up. Oh, fuck. What does she say? The Epstein-Barr virus. The Epstein-Barr virus, EBV, is a member of the herpes virus family. It is one of the most common viruses to infect people around the world. According to the Center for Disease Control Prevention, most people will attract EBV at some point in their life. The virus typically causes no symptoms in children and adolescents and adults. It causes illness called infectious mononucleosis, or mono, in about 35 to 50% of cases. Also known as the kissing disease, EBV is usually spread through saliva. It's very rare for the disease to spread through blood or other body fluids. The EBV test is also known as EBV antibodies. It's a blood test used to identify EBV infection. The test detects the presence of the antibodies. Antibodies are proteins in your immune system. What did I say? Antibodies are proteins. Your proteins, neuromelanated being, your proteins are amino acids, not fucking proteins from animals. Your proteins come from like nuts, vegetables, fruits. Really, you get a shitload of protein from fruits because amino acids converts into protein. But if it's converting to protein with a clear blood flow, then you see where I'm going. Sorry, so boom, that means more reproduction. Because when your immune system falls, you actually create a gut because it's destroying the womb now. Feel me? Your womb is where your emotions is too, not your brain. That's why you feel it all in your stomach. You catch it, you read it, and all that shit from your brain. But the feelings are all in your stomach. Like from your emotions. Alright, so antibodies are proteins that your body immune system releases in response to harmful substance called antigen. That's what it's supposed to do. But if your sodium channels are blocked, it makes it harder. Then they have to keep shooting you with this shit because they know your cells can actually beat it. Then depending on your diet, it can actually beat what the fuck they're trying to do. Then they know black people love chicken. And then the chickens they got, right? They ain't real chickens no more, bruh. They're cloned chickens. Meaning they clone the fuck out of them, making high produce of it, right? Gotta hurry up and ship them shits out. The sell date is probably within 2 months. Because if that chicken was alive, running around for 2 months, he would die. So the shit they compare with animals like chickens, rats, most likely monkeys, birds, lemurs, or I'm gonna say the snub-nosed monkey, and dogs, right? It's something about 2 months is kind of like our 2 years. So they tested on animals, the animals they use to even concoct other races. They test them same animals. So now, since they use the animals, see how it could do as a prototype. Now, like they use fucking animals to use shit for surveillance. It's all for surveillance. It's a war tactic. But when you realize the war ain't about going with other countries, it's about going against you. Because when you look at this war, it's really bullshit. They're not fucking with no other country. They're not fucking with no government, none of that. They're literally fucking with the people all over the world because the energy is unlocking the DNA. And they know if they could put you in fear while it happens, you're not going to know what the fuck to do when it happens. Or it can stop it from happening. That's why you walk through the shadows of death with no fear, no spirit of fear. What's the fuck that mean, nigga? No fear. No fear. Like how Morpheus told Neo, free your mind, clean your chakras to clear your mind. Use the Avatar video, clean chakras. If you actually do it, you will remove shit that you've been holding on to your life and your past life. Cause you gonna feel like that shit gone. But the only reason it will never be gone unless you use imagination to get rid of it. It will never be let go of unless it would never be let go of because that shit stuck in your subconscious. Remember? And your subconscious is what they call your junk DNA. So the only way to remove traumas, like you could not think about it no more, but it's always going to be something that triggers it. Even if you don't express it, you're going to think about it. The only reason you think about it is because it's still in your subconscious, which is your soul. So as you're cleaning it up, you need to be letting go with imagination, because they gave you your perspective and anxiety to even look at that, to give it energy, like to make yourself feel down. That's why anything with anxiety makes you feel down, because it brings you down. It fucks up your manifestation. Shit that you're holding on to subconsciously and old ways of thinking that don't serve you no purpose will always be stuck in your sub, and you will always manifest the same shit until you cut it off and walk in your purpose, like being a real nigga. Like yeah, somebody can want to have sex with you, but you know you just can't be doing that shit. I mean, you might, but still, you know you just can't be doing that shit off the rip. It don't matter who you is. So it's like sometimes you gotta check it and move on, just so they meet the next nigga. They ain't gonna be on that same type of movement. But if niggas don't, they get with the next nigga, they gonna be on that same type of movement. So that's what I'm saying. Niggas gotta be real niggas to themselves. Can't lie to yourself trying to ascend and shit, cause it ain't gonna work like that. It's going against yourself. And you shouldn't Never want to go against yourself more than anything in the world. That's like a sin to you. You're talking about shit to other people outside of you that you don't even never meet. But what about you though? Like, it's okay to love yourself. It's okay to move the way you want to move, especially if it's righteous. Not saying go out here and move wrong and just like try to bring the niggas down. Like, no. Because once you think about it, most of the shit that you were doing to get over something never worked. It did for the moment. I'm trying to tell you a way it works permanently. They gave you a perspective through visual stimuli. So this is shit that you've seen from the world, but they went through the same shit. Or just straight up TV. Most of it came from straight up TV in this age in games. So like reality shows, all that shit, it gives you a perspective that you don't have unless you would have lived that life already. So if you didn't live that life and a motherfucker just sitting there watching it, they're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna feel the need to do so, thinking this is how you do it. But really, in reality, that's not how you do it. So it's like, that's when you point out a fuck nigga of the group. So like, the only real one's gonna relate to what I just said. So like, this is what I'm trying to say. I got off topic. Your antibodies, yeah. These antibodies are like amino acids, because your amino acids help build antibodies, right? So boom, the more cells you get, the more they can fight back. The more amino acids you get, the more antibodies you have. Think about these amino acids that's in these natural foods and minerals and shit that you're consuming. It repairs your DNA strains, right? It's supposed to be 12. So it repairs the strains. Most people never even felt the left and right muscle in their back plus the spine. More of it's about to grow in. Trust me. And depending on your diet, you might be comfortable with it or you might feel sore. But the only reason you feeling sore is because you ain't drinking enough water and that food is turning into lactic acid, which causes acidosis and all that extra shit. So boom, to reverse that is to get on the fruit. Especially if you're neuromelanated, your body self-rejuvenates itself when you're on your right diet. So therefore, hop on the fruits. And I'm starting to think vinegar is a big part, because all fruit, if you let it sit, it turns into vinegar and it will smell like the same vinegar. I didn't even think watermelon would do it, but watermelon turns into vinegar too. Like every fruit turns into vinegar. So what do vinegar do? Cleans up bacteria, infections, brings back balance. So let's say you're intaking that, then what you're intaking got amino acids and minerals in it. So now, as you're digesting that, is cleaning as it's going through your digestive system to where it goes out. And most fruit, you might not even shit out because it turns into energy. It doesn't sit. So that helps loosen up your shit so you can shit the shit out, because most niggas gaining weight just not shitting at all. So like, that's when the gut forms. So like, it will all make sense when you do it. So like I could talk all day, but if you don't do it for yourself, then you ain't gonna see shit. Like if you didn't see how to shoot a basketball into a goal, how the fuck do you think the nigga made it to the NBA or close to it? And you had to see it first. Like I'm starting to see I could fly. And then I saw some African tribes do it. And yeah, they was around the ring of fire. And people might say other shit. But I kind of looked at it in my own perspective. When a ring of fire makes atoms speed up faster, so that will harness more energy with inside that circle. So that means while them atoms are speeding up and you're gaining energy from the ground and above, antimatter is low key deals with helium because it's hydrogen and carbon. Well, the sun is hydrogen and helium, and the other stars have different elements. Like Nemesis has straight carbon in it, or the red sun got straight carbon, some or nitrogen. So boom. But our sun is helium and hydrogen. So as it absorbs in our hydrogen cells, because in the air is water, air, and plasma. A little bit of earth because plasma come off plants too. That shit holds power. That's why it's electric food. Anyways, because it's living. It's a whole entity that you're connected to. It's another piece of you. So when you see plants or fruits, it's really a reflection of you because you share the same DNA. Not saying that's how you should look at it, just because of the DNA is the same. Not saying you look like a strawberry in the face. I'm saying like you share the same DNA, so that makes you omnipresent. So like, boom. So EBV test just sound like an STD test. All right, so we got that from Mon, right? So Mon deals with that virus, right? All right, now let's see what key is more meanings. Y'all can go into it some more. Been on this bitch for an hour or two. So key means in Greek what? Christianity. The keys are an office and power given by Christ. Remember who? To the church for binding and loosing sins. Binding means coming together. Loosing is making something comfortable. So even when you say I bind, like bind out, just look at a binder keep things together. So when you bind, anyways, it is it is a power that the Roman Catholics, the niggas who started that shit, believed to have been conferred first on Saint Peter, then afterwards on his successors in the office of the Roman Catholic papacy, which is the U.S. government. Niggas is still part of UK. UK is getting ran by the Roman shit. That ties back down to the Unum Sanctum, which physically gave you up and solely depending on your religion that you took is really a soul contract. Like, but it's a soul contract to pretty much Satan, but uncluelessly. But that's why they're scared, because niggas is waking up and fixing it. So now they have to speed up the process. Reason why they have CERN to speed up the radiation in the air. That's why I really be feeling hot, like at nighttime. Plus the radiation from the sun, because CERN is harnessing energy from the sun. Alright. So key means a small piece of shaped metal with incision cut to fit the wards of a particular lock. Your chakras, all your chakras is like doors. And them bitches turn open, they unlock. The vaccines always kept them locked from day one, from when you came out the womb, you know. And most people who woke up have not taken no vaccine pretty much since the flu shot. And probably the first one they had to get, they most likely didn't take another one after that. So, like, yeah. Because just like most, like, nature knows what to do when it comes, like, we knew what the fuck we was supposed to do. We already had our own perspective. We came out the womb knowing we just needed people to guide. But most of our guiders got taught the wrong shit too because of genocide and propaganda. That's how we lost ourselves anyway. From division, propaganda, and division, propaganda, and genocide. So it's enter or operate on by. So a key is enter or operated on by means of a computer keyboard, telephone keypad. Fasten something in position with pin, wedge, or bolt. For example, the coils may be keyed into the slot fiber wedges. Alright, so key is gaining or preventing entrance, possession, or control. This nigga's about to turn up on their ass after the 20. Yeah, it might be this week. Yeah, I'ma just end this because It's another video, but I didn't do this. Was M. M means mass. Is a dimensionless quantity representing the amount of matter in a particle or object. I already knew that. Alright, so boom. Monk means in medical. Monk in medical means metadata. Data offer new knowledge, projection tool, education, mentally overcome negatively knowledge. Oh, that's an acronym. Monk is a man who is a member of a religious order and lives in a monastery. Also, friar. Monastic health care was a result of work of a well-educated monks with access to historical documents containing medical information that contain medical hold on, in the early illness and diseases guided the practice and development of medical care as a result of poor living conditions and technical inadequacies. I always say this shit wrong. In medieval medicine, disease was a constant menace in Europe and often controlled people's daily lives. In response to illness in general, and to large-scale epidemics of dread diseases such as plague, leprosy, and influenza, in particular, individuals and societies began searching for new, more effective means of medical practice. This is when they went east. The Western Empire story of the empires getting taken over also represents when they went there, they concocted a new species. Right? So, boom. Let's get it. Where Yakub concocted a new species. So, in this context, medicine is split into a large and what an occupation encompasses a variety of professionals and folk practices ranging from natural, physical-based medicine to religion medicine, magical medicine, and herbalism. Ranging from natural, nature, physical, working out, religious medicine, the hospital, magical medicine, alchemy, and herbalism is herbs. One of the most important medical development of this time was the introduction of medieval monastic hospitals, which arose as a source of medical care in the early Middle Ages. That the monastic healthcare was a result of the work of well-educated monks with access to historical documents containing medical information and with a calling to serve God by helping people. Between 500 to 1,050 hospitals served as centers of hospitality in medieval societies. Alright, so medieval societies dealt with the Greek and the Romans. They hospitalities they hospitals served as hospitality in the society in the town. So the hospitals always did the opposite to natural beings, right? And they were trying to get rid of the natural beings so they could take over the planet. But instead, they took over empires, warred, made agreements, and then snaked them again, just like the Thanksgiving story that was done in every fucking war when it came to colonizing on some land that wasn't theirs, because they're not from this planet. They landed here. So as Satan was making his own offspring so he could have his kids worship him and him only, because he didn't like how we was raising each other up. So reason why he only wants you to serve him, not serve your people and humanity and the universe. So that would keep you at a lower state, especially looking outside of yourself when you can go in. It's called intuition for a reason. It's free tuition. So boom, let's get it. Alright, so it says they served as hospitality. So Greek hospitality is called xenia, right? I could look this up while I'm gonna just I could, but damn, that's a whole nother video. But it still ties into this because the Xenobot, the Z is the masculine aspect of that word. The X Xeno is the feminine aspect of that word. So Xeno with a Z means give to Zeus. The X means Xenon, which is also an element. But Xenia is the feminine version of Xenos, because it's a Latin word. So yeah, damn, it's a Latin word. So that means it has a different meaning. So tying down to the same thing. So the Greek hospitality was called Xenia because there would be people coming into their town, like the divine, really the Moors, but the divine, right? So they would tell the people in the town, you have to treat them with love and care, with hospitality. Give them a place to stay, food, and then you invite them to the gathering, pretty much where they sacrifice them at, with all these statues. And all these statues is like deities and shit. So making a sacrifice of you to Zeus. Cause what does he do? He's trying to harness any energy that was once connected to him, but we disconnected him from us. But the only way he can connect to you is if you have a spirit of fear. Damn, that was a perfect way to say that. But yeah, so like, boom. So the Xenia, right, ties back to what we was just reading right here. They was using all the secrets that they had too and reversed it to witchcraft. Um, so they need to watch to see who's divine, to learn from them, kill them, and so they can harvest them. Pretty much. And it's been going on since then because that's when it started. Right? 'Cause Christopher and Columbus and them, they came through the Caucasus. So, like, boom. They was lost because of time loops. Once you're in that loop of time, you're stuck in it until you can rise out of it. But if you're not made, see, this is where they fucked up. They came here thinking they could do what the fuck they did, but they're not from here. So they can't rise out of a fucking loop because they can't take the energy to even reflect it and rise. They would just spontaneously combust. Period. So that's where they fucked up. So that's where it comes back to prophecy of how black people are coming back into power. And they're kind of hiding numbers of people who's dropping left or right. It's kind of sad, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. This is a time where more of other races need to start showing respect because the more we get mad, the more it's going to heat up because we're connected to all these stars and it hears us. Like, we're omnipresent everywhere. We're above and below. Even people who witness ET say they were black. Niggas have seen a whole lot of Sumerian gods or whatever, or a reptilian. I've seen both. But only seen a reptilian in the physical. Just because, yeah. The crazy thing is, sometimes the person you may know might not be the person you may know. It's like, I met people, grown up with people, and you expect them to know you. That's why you trust them. Because other people don't know you like how you think they know you. But most of the time, they don't even know you. So, most of the time, they don't know themselves. And if you don't know yourself, you can never know somebody else. So it's like, the key is right now is learning about self. Because once you learn about self, you realize self is nature. And you realize what nature is, or your cells and your anatomy. You realize nature is like the universe, and you're both of them put together. You're above and below in the humanoid body. Reason you can know all. And really break the curse and say I will be able to know all, but don't get upset when you get all the downloads. Because really, that's just you tapping into you. It ain't you going in the past or the future. Really, if niggas want to talk about time, we're going backwards, right? Because we fail from our grace. So now that the cycle is restarted, which was 2012, it's going back the other way. So, that being said, we're pretty much going back to what we were from the beginning. And they still can't figure us out. They got the secrets and everything. But it's like, say somebody get a job, right? They lose it, they get another one, and they keep getting better. So it's like, they tried to confuse us, but they can't confuse us because we are the keys. We are literally everything. So what you see other races doing, like it's their own culture, and they can't take the sun, they learned it from us. And if it's anything that's dealing with witchcraft, they learned that from us too and reversed it to even make it witchcraft. Because magic is science, and science is the study of life. So if you realize that life runs off of frequencies, it makes vibrations, which a vibration can carry a signal. So really it's sound and light that even makes what we see around us. Without sound and light, shit wouldn't manifest, shit would not grow. It would be as so. And I kind of forgot where I was going with that. I'm just talking. So I'm just in this video. I hope somebody out. Peace.